an excuse, the word balancing, to teach something more. Then I'll come back to your question. Balancing means it would be some of that and some of that and some of that and some of that. This is one thing. When we talk about unification, it's totally different. The things should be unified. Remember what I say, this the Friday night, right? The Friday night is unification of a good meal and a family experience and a spiritual. It's not, balancing means that I would have the three. I have a good meal somewhere and I have some friends and I volunteer in a hospital. Do you understand? That means I have all the three components balancing. This is not the Jewish way. Jewish way is not balancing, is unification. The three should work together. Remember the women, that one gives her validation as a woman and one gives her a validation as a person. And let's say it's balancing. I'm not interested in it. I want unification. Clear? I just gave. I don't want to give more. You where? In job? What? In job? All right. Okay. It's a very, very and that's really the goal of this lecture, is to understand it. But maybe for that is I have to give an example, a parable. I'm a chess player, so I love to give parables from chess. Now, and when I sometimes was teaching kids or even youngsters to play chess, and one of the problem was, well, I'd like to play with my knight. I didn't move it for a long time. I love to move my knights. No, my queen, I never exchange my queen. And this rock is so powerful, I must use it. Okay? Now he has many needs and many drives. He's a very lousy player. In chess, you might have only one motivation, which namely is to win the game. And this only motivation unifies all your pieces. Because once you have only one motivation, then you say, well, I'll use it, but only is coordination with that, and only now, and now don't. You understand? Balancing means that I have to do all the time, but unification, sometimes I don't have to do it. Because everything is geared towards the same goal. And I have to use every one in this certain proportion to the extent that would help me to get the goal. Now, let's give an example for that, all right? Pleasure. Okay? I want to go touring. I love to go. When I go to Chicago, I go to the center there. I went to, there to the huge towers, or whatever it is. I go to Spain to give lectures. I went to Moscow to lectures. I took the train to St. Petersburg. Whatever it is, I love to take trips, etc. Now, what is the right proportion? To which extent? I can do trips all my life, or can do nothing. What is the right proportion? The right proportion is like in chess. I want to progress, but I want to be happy. These are the two. That's the name of the game. You have to progress and you have to be happy. So you have to use a certain dose to help you to grow, but at the same time to be happy. So different people would need totally different doses. You understand that? Doses of pleasure, of touring, of trips. It depends about my psychological needs. But both of us should remember this is not the goal. The goal is my spiritual growth. The goal is my spiritual responsibility. But I have to grow in that, but I have to take in consideration my personal needs such that I'll be happy. And therefore I need a certain dose of pleasure. But it should be incorporated such that it would help me to grow. This is a very delicate example. Maybe I'll go to simple. Degenerate. Yes, he's in trouble.
To me that looks like an unbalanced person.
You're right.
You don't like the word unbalanced.
But you're right. In this case, two things happen. He's unbalanced and he's ununified. But I say it's not enough to balance. Judaism is talking on a much higher level.
You should have a central goal for everything to unify. Like in chess, you said the goal is to win.
Yes, and what does it mean to win? To win means my personality, not my job. My goal in life is my personality. You might be right, but this is, for me, it moves people to an area where they don't understand each other. I'll give notes to everybody here, or everybody in the rest of the universe, and I say you have to be yourself. Nobody would understand. Everybody would understand in a different way. This is a very subjective language. So therefore, nobody can benefit from it. You understand? We try to use objective language. I want to know what to do. If I use this kind of language, you can benefit from it. Nobody else can. Because nobody can understand what does it mean to be yourself.
Well, you have to learn about yourself. You have to find out about yourself.
And you are in trouble because I don't know how to find out. I might find out very distorted things and I say, this is myself. Or maybe this is a sick part of myself. This is a very dangerous way. We don't think so. I don't have to be expert in psychology. I don't have to. We think that Judaism teaches me to unify the things, and once I unify things, things happen automatically, even without me knowing myself. Because the Torah has a fantastic trick to unify. And I'll try to give examples, all right? And as I said, let's assume I'm looking for a job. And I want to grow in job, and I look for a job when the things are interesting, and the things are where I'm successful, and they are meaningful to me. At the same time that I don't work late at night, so that I have time for my family, etc. This is practical things, without knowing myself. But I give him practical rules. Judaism does not believe in that you must be expert in psychology. I want to give you practical rules. And if you apply them, automatically it will build your personality. You see, it's the other way around. Okay, so you ask now, how? Let's start with the very basic concept of a cup of water. Now, I want to drink a cup of water. How do I drink a cup of water? The first thing is physical pleasure, right? I enjoy it. It seems I missed something. No. I want you to know Judaism does not use general concepts. Very practical thing. So I want now, let's deal with a cup of water. I want to exemplify on something practical. Okay? Now, let's assume I want to be physical, right? Physical, very simple. I'm thirsty. This is simple. Now, what is emotional? There are different ways that this can be an emotional experience. Let's say I eat with friends. This is very simple, right? So then, gdola legima shemekarevet et habrion. So eating together, right, is an emotional experience. But let's say I'm by myself. How can I make this an emotional experience? By peace of mind. Now, me and this cup of water. Nothing else. I want to relax. I want to enjoy life. I want to enjoy God. I'm happy now. See, so it's not just physical pleasure, but I try to relax and concentrate on the experience now of having this cup of water. This is an emotional experience. Now this can be a spiritual experience. Gratitude to God. If your wife made a meal to you, it's not a restaurant. This is a leverage for a bond between you. So I'm using that as a leverage between a bond between me and God. God, thank you, I love you. See? So now this cup of water became as a leverage for spiritual experience. So if I do it properly, it unifies physical, emotional, and spiritual. Now, it's very hard for us to do it through regular day life. But on Shabbos, we are obeyed. We are commanded. We are commanded to do it. V'karata l'Shabbat oneg. There is a very special mitzvah to enjoy things in this kind of way. My daughter asked me, please exemplify that to me on Shabbos. So I say, all right, please take the ice cream. Now you're looking forward for the pleasure. All the how do you say, the vanista, the rock, what do you have in your mouth, sir? Huh? Rock, how do you say rock?
Saliva.
Saliva. Okay. So it comes up, you get excited and so on. All right, fine. Now, saliva? Salivation? Good. All right, now, God, I love you. But I don't want to love you only with my mind. I want to love you also with my body. That's pleasure of Shabbos now. So I look at the ice cream now, and I concentrate now, because I want to do a special mitzvah which is called Oneg Shabbat. That I want to transform pleasure, physical pleasure, to spiritual pleasure. And to unify them, because at the same time I really enjoy the ice cream. Okay? So now, God, I want you to know we have a special mitzvah to unify, like husband and wife. And I want this pleasure now that we want to be one. Therefore, I want to enjoy it, and with this pleasure to love you. Now, you make the broche, and now you take the ice cream, I told my daughter, let all the pleasure go down. Thank God, I love you. This is physical, this is peace of mind, and this is spiritual. This is a very extreme example of unification of physical, emotional, and spiritual. Because all your components work together now. As I said, during the week, very special people are doing that. Very few people are doing that. On Shabbos, every one of us is commanded to do that. We should know that Shabbos for. Shabbos, this is a time to train ourselves really for this peace of mind and to enjoy things and elevate them to spiritual pleasure. So as I said, I took it very simply and took the very simple component of pleasure, and this can be unified. Let's go to the restroom, okay? Look, okay? I go to the restroom, and I go out, okay? And now, definitely, the Gmorah says that the physical relief of going to the restroom, it's a big pleasure. That's a fact. It says it's really a pleasure. That's the way it describes. And God created it. It's once I get rid of, I feel much better. Okay, this is one. Now, this is a time to be aware of myself. When I get out of the restroom, I look at myself. Who am I? And I see a body. And it's a fantastic body. And I have a mission. See, I look at myself and this is a great thing. And then I bless. And I thank God. And I transform this experience to spiritual experience. And you should know that this broche of Asher Yatzah, it can be a very, very meaningful experience of your life. Yes, it is. Exactly. That's what I said. You don't have to know yourself. And you don't need a responsibility. If you just incorporate the mitzvahs, the precept properly, if you do it in all areas of your life, it was designed to unify you.
You're giving an example on the board. Let's say you take an individual.
Yeah, but I want to continue, give more examples.
But wait a minute.
Well, first of all, I hardly believe it's possible. Yeah, I believe he can be successful at work, but it's very hard for him really to unify himself properly in one area and be totally caricatured in other areas. I suspect that even in the work, it does not really unify. This is what I suspect.